Now that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, we have many questions about what this actually means politically. How do you think about the ramifications for him and for President Biden of this verdict today? Who has helped more?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I do believe that we have a system in this country that all of us have lived with for a long, long time that has served this country tremendously well. And we have always maintained that we are a country of laws, not of men. And that was demonstrated here with this jury, with this prosecution, and with this result. The jury listened. It rendered a unanimous verdict. And to that, we should all be thankful and move on. Now, there will not be a conclusion to this until July 11th. And when that occurs, hopefully everybody will respond to that the way they're responding today. And then we'll let the politics take care of itself as time moves on.
Congressman, you were in the Capitol on January 6th after the former president, lost the 2020 election. Are you concerned about political violence following this verdict and what could be the sentence coming up in weeks?
Quite frankly, I'm not. I'm not concerned about this. What happened on July 6th happened at the urging of the gentleman who was just convicted on 34 counts, felony counts, I might add. I don't think he'll pursue that again. And I think those people who perpetrated January 6th were misled, misinformed, and by someone who is now a convicted felon. And I don't think there's going to be any violence. It would not have been on January 6th if he had not called for it.
Okay, so we may not see a reappearance of history in terms of what could happen at the Capitol if in terms of anything violent, Congressman. But there also is the question, what could happen at the Capitol in terms of legislating or messaging bills that could emerge from this verdict, knowing that your chamber is controlled by Republicans, many of whom went to the courthouse in the defense of Donald Trump throughout the course of this trial. What are you bracing for when you and your colleagues return to Washington in the aftermath of this verdict?
Well, I think that when we get back to Washington, cooler heads will prevail. I think that my Republican colleagues may have been hedging their bets a little bit. You now have 12 independent American citizens who looked at the facts in this case, came to a unanimous decision. I did not check to see what walks of life all of them came from, but two of them were attorneys. And I do believe that those attorneys spoke up for the law. And I do believe that that cross-section of 12 people ought to be instructive for my Republican colleagues. And hopefully this will be a significant step toward our pursuit of a more perfect union. And we will do the things that are necessary legislatively, as well as politically, to maintain this democracy, to continue our pursuit towards a more perfect union, and hopefully prepare for a definitive election come November 5th.
Congressman, just got a minute left. With all of that said, do you want to hear Joe Biden start talking openly about this? He's been largely just giving Donald Trump rope for the course of this trial. And as the others have emerged, the other indictments, is it time for him to start speaking about this out loud now that we have a verdict?
I don't think so. Maintaining this democracy is not a partisan issue. It's not Democrats or Republicans. This country has been served well by this two-party system, sometimes to my liking, sometimes not so much. But I think all of us are responsible for this. And I get a little irritated when I hear people say Democrats, in order to keep this democracy, Democrats need to do this, or Democrats need to do the other. Americans need to work together to maintain this democracy and let the judicial system take care of itself. We have three branches of government. They act independent of each other. All of us have responsibilities to maintain in this.